we're in something new. We've not been here before. Much has been lost, but we're finding out more about what matters most, our purpose, and whether we'll drift further apart or draw closer. Together. This series of podcasts is intended to bring some perspective in this time of great change. It's unrehearsed and largely unedited. It's just people telling their stories about how they're managing right now. Some are helpful, others are just fun, but they're all intended to foster one thought. In a time when we're being asked to stay apart, there are ways that we can stay together. And today I bring you Carole Olinger.
I would like to talk a bit about how it was causing me anxiety to not to be able to have as much social contact as I had before, and how things changed over the past 2 weeks, like having even more social contact at the moment, only that it's not personal. And also, I'd like to talk about the blog series that I started, which is called 3 Positive Things, and how this actually changed my mindset a little bit.
Yeah. With the sort of socializing, then you say you're doing more. Does that mean that just like more minutes of actual contact with people, or you're just making more of an effort, or how does that work?
Yeah, actually, I found out that, there were a lot of people that were actively checking on me, that were worried about how I'm going to cope with the situation, knowing that I'm an extrovert. And there were people amongst it that I don't had so much contact with them over the past years, but then they were just like thinking of me and then like checking on me, how I was feeling. And then we started writing, or even we started calling each other. And that was pretty cool, because that would not have happened if it wasn't for the very special situation we are all living in at the moment. And and I was doing the same for people that I was a bit worried about. So there are all these new social contacts that, or let's say they are not new, but they have been renewed,
Yeah.
that are part of my life now, and where we are only by knowing that we will not be able to meet in person, that made also change the way of contact I have with these people. Like, it's not only writing and checking like, hey, how are you feeling, and let's meet at some point, which is never going to happen, but it's like, hey, do you want to hop on a call? And then we're just using good old phone or the newer mediums like Zoom, like what we are doing at the moment, and we're talking to each other. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed an upturn in the amount of time I'm spending communicating with people, and for exactly the same reason. One example in my case is my parents. I've just made much more of an effort to communicate more or less on a daily basis on Zoom or something similar, like a face-to-face camera to camera thing. And I didn't used to do that. It was much more infrequent. And you're absolutely right. Some of the little Facebook groups where we've forged friendships, and I've got like this little weekly meeting of 5 or 6 mates, and we all just hop on a call at the same time. And we never used to do that, and now we've made that into a weekly thing. We're doing it once a week for an hour by common consensus. That's how often we wish to do it, and that's new to me as well. So that's totally unexpected and really nice.
Yeah. So what we did, so basically, that was like I think a lot of that was my initiative, because, like I said, I had anxiety at the beginning of the measures that were leading towards the lockdown in Germany when it started like 2 weeks ago. And I was trying to be proactive. Like, what can I do to, not to go crazy by not having enough social contact? And we did similar things. So, for example, last weekend we had a dinner with, like, an online dinner with a friend living in San Francisco and a friend living in Wuppertal in Germany. And we really, like, everybody was preparing something special, and we gave us the appointment for 8 p.m. and we came with our food and we were sitting together and we were chatting like how we were coping with situation, but also like some hilarious, funny stuff. So we were just having a great time. And then after that, um, my husband and I, we were moving to the living room. So we had two cameras. It was pretty funny because we all could see our living room while having dinner already. And the two friends, they have been visiting us quite often. So they knew the living room. They were like, oh, I feel like I am in your house now because I see different parts. So we were moving to the living room where I had installed an online game box called Checkbox. And so we were playing online. So there's so you either need a version that you purchase on your computer, or in my case it was a Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody from around the world, if they get your room code, they can join with their mobile device, and then you can play online. So
Nice.
It was pretty cool. So we had like 2.5 hours game session after that. So that was really great. And also this week, with another group of people, we were building Lego and puzzles together. So everybody was just on their table and building their stuff. And then we were having a beer, a drink, and then chatting together. So I really like that.
Intriguing. I love the idea of having a kind of an online meal where you all just congregate at the same moment.
Yeah.
But the games, my children, they've got, the typical Xbox interest in Xbox, and there seems to be quite a renewed effort because they're all away from school. They seem to have coordinated amongst themselves the time at which they're going to go on. I confess I haven't really observed how it's working, but there seems to be a lot of chatter going through the headphones, and that's really nice. So food together, and then gaming and building, doing puzzles and things like that. That's lovely.
Yeah,
there was something else you wanted to mention, wasn't there? Some blog that you've begun.
Yeah. So I started that about, I think today's gonna be day 11, so 11 days ago. I had the idea to that was at a time where I was following the news still a bit more closely, and I was like really caught in a spiral of seeing bad news all day, because that's what's happening in the world right now. I mean, there's so much bad things going on and so many people suffering, and I mean, either from anxiety, or they're really getting sick. People are dying. People are having financial troubles like I probably couldn't even imagine. So I just felt like, okay, I cannot change the world at the moment. So if there's something I can help with, I will definitely seize the occasion and do so. But so far, I can only change my world, and I can limit the information that I am, just taking in every day. And I can actively decide to wrap my mind about more positive things. And I think that's also what the world needs. I mean, we see that a lot of people are becoming really creative online, doing really creative stuff to cheer up the society via online media. And I started like a very simple thing. So I have a blog post which I am really not actively feeding with content. And I thought I could just start with recapping my days and mention like 3 positive things that happened during my day. And so I just started doing that. And the effects were huge on my own mindset.
Nice.
So I don't even care if there are a lot of people reading it or not reading it. I mean, if there's one person a day where it's going to put a smile on their face, I'm already happy. But even more important is it puts a smile on my face every day. Because it's not only while writing the blog post that I am practicing gratitude, it's also during my day. Because it actually, it makes me become more aware during my day about positive things that are going on at this exact right moment. Because I'm like, oh, this is really great. I could use it for my blog post this evening. And oh, this means it's a really positive thing that is currently happening to me. So I should really cherish the moment. And that's what I'm doing. So it changed my complete mindset.
Yeah.
Of feeling forced to take in all the news and all the bad things that's going on around in the world, to, hey, what's happening in my life right now, in this very minute, in this very second, what is positive.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people can identify with that from the point of view that, they've probably had a diet over the last few weeks of relentlessly fairly miserable news. And
Yeah,
maybe in the same way that you have, I also discovered that I was becoming a bit habitual with that, and made the realization that there wasn't really a great deal to be gained by continually refreshing the news.
yeah,
Not to be ignorant. I can still do that once a day or what have you,
yeah,
but just stepping away from it. But also, I have noticed, in just the same way that you have done it, a bit of an upswing in people becoming more introspective and more thoughtful, and taking little wins to be really big, and enjoying the moment. People writing about how they're grateful for this and how they've enjoyed that in a way that 3 weeks ago would have been of no consequence. It would have just passed you by. You would never have made any reference to it ever again. But doing that little action, that's wonderful. Where do we find it? What's the URL for the blog?
The URL is basically my first name and last name, so it's caroleolinger.com. And yeah, there's a category which is called mental health, and all the blog posts of the last 10 days are online there. And I'm really trying to write my 3 positive things every day. So there was one exception, like 2 days ago. I didn't write the recap on that same day because I was lost in the puzzle world. So this was pretty amazing, because I have never done puzzles in my life. I mean, when I was a kid, probably when I was 5 or 6 years old,
Yeah.
very easy puzzles, like 50 pieces or so. And when I had my Lego building online get together this week, there was one participant. She didn't have Lego at her home at that moment, and she decided to make a puzzle. And I felt like, hey, this is something I could try if I like it or not. And because I know that my husband, he likes to do puzzles when he was younger. And so then I ordered a puzzle, and I started like building it 2 days ago, and I was like really, really into it. So I started, I think, at 1 p.m. And then all of a sudden my husband was standing in front of me like at 8 p.m. and like, are we not gonna have dinner? And I was like, isn't it way too early? And in my head, I thought it was like 4 or 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was completely lost in puzzle world.
That's a really nice thought. I don't know how many times across the world this exact scenario is being played out, but we've done the same thing. We found a bunch of jigsaws that basically have been in cellophane. They've been in the plastic that they arrived in. They probably Christmas gifts many years ago, stuck in a cupboard, ignored, lost, forgotten about, and out they came. And we've really been enjoying doing a hugely difficult jigsaw puzzle. It's a map of the world, but it's been fascinating. Both my wife and I have found a real interest in it, and addiction, frankly. Exactly the same as you, just an inability to notice what time it is, and the kids come along and sort of say, "Can we have tea yet?" Really? Same thing. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
At a time when we're staying apart, creative ways of staying together are so important. I hope that you found something of use here, a new idea, or perhaps just a smile. Stay safe. Stay together.